fighter. I think he's amazing. I think he has great technique. He has crazy knockout power.
That's difference. We all know Tank best weight is 35, 40. You fought Barrios at 40, 35, 40. And you fight Jake Paul, who getting better. I'm like I said, and he got 6 feet tall. Where Tank gonna hit him?
GervontaDavis launched his first day of training camp for the Jake Paul fight with explosive energy. During an intense pad session, he unleashed a blistering 35-punch combination, displaying his signature speed and power. His crisp technique and laser-sharp focus made it clear he's taking this camp seriously. Both fans and analysts see it as a bold statement. Davis is gearing up to break down Jake Paul with experience, discipline, and unrelenting pressure in the ring. GervontaDavis stirred up social media after posting a bold message on Instagram, "See y'all soon. I guess ATL going to be two-turned." He followed it with, "Tell them to send that bag and I'm coming." The post underscored 2 key points. Davis is hungry to return to the ring, and he expects the business side of boxing to be handled with respect. In an era where fighters must juggle legacy and financial security, Davis's words struck a chord. This wasn't just a casual update, it was a clear declaration that he's ready, motivated, and fully aware of his value. The blend of competitive fire and a firm stance on fair compensation paints the picture of a fighter who knows his worth and refuses to settle.
I text that again. Tell them boys to give me 150 M's. I'm coming. You know what I mean? When I start streaming out that, stop it. Knock it off, cuz. Stop it. Tell them to send that bag and I'm coming. And I'm, you know.
Even before the fight was official, GervontaDavis didn't hold back his opinion on Jake Paul's entrance into boxing. He previously dismissed Paul's efforts as trash, echoing the skepticism many boxing purists share toward celebrities crossing over into combat sports. Davis argued that Paul likely turned to boxing out of boredom with ventures like YouTube, highlighting the growing divide between traditional fighters and entertainment-driven athletes. Yet, despite Tank's criticism, Paul's persistence has forced even the sports elite to take notice. The fact that Davis is now preparing to face him in the ring is proof of just how far Paul has come, transforming what many once saw as a gimmick into one of the most talked about events in modern boxing.
Think of former athletes and celebrities like Jake Paul taking up boxing. You think that grows the sport?
If he's doing it for the right reason, actually want to do it because of just like actually want to box, it's cool. But if he's doing it for like the wrong reason, just to get the hype and stuff like that, I feel as though it's trash. Sometimes people get bored at what they want, what they doing, and they want to try other stuff. Got to be mentally tough to be able to box. So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So just show how tough you are. That's how it should be.
For sure. That's all I got. Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
The upcoming clash between GervontaDavis and Jake Paul has ignited a heated debate within boxing circles. For many purists, the fight reinforces their concern that boxing is drifting away from its roots of merit, skill, and legacy, shifting instead toward spectacle and celebrity-driven entertainment. Critics argue that this matchup undermines the sport's integrity, turning professional boxing into more of a sideshow than a serious athletic contest. However, there's another perspective to consider. Boxing has always straddled the line between sport and showbiz. From Muhammad Ali's larger-than-life persona to Mike Tyson's blockbuster pay-per-view reign, spectacle has long been woven into boxing's fabric. Whether fans view Davis versus Paul as a disgrace or a goldmine ultimately comes down to how they interpret the sport's delicate balance between legacy and entertainment.
Boxing has gone too far. Jake Paul is taking on Gervonta "Tank" Davis in an exhibition bout this November. The fight will be taking place in Atlanta between the cruiserweight and the 135-pounder, nearly a 100-pound difference between the two guys. This is absolutely insane. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below.
Former super middleweight contender Jesse Hart didn't hold back when addressing critics of GervontaDavis's decision to fight Jake Paul. Frustrated by the backlash, Hart argued that detractors are missing the bigger picture. Davis isn't turning his back on legacy, he's navigating the realities of modern boxing. Tank has the right to prioritize financial opportunities, even if some interpret it as joining the circus, Hart stated. His passionate defense highlights a growing divide within the sport. While some believe Davis should be targeting elite names like Shakur Stevenson or Teofimo Lopez, others recognize that massive paydays, especially against a globally recognized figure like Paul, are hard to pass up. Hart's take reframes Davis's move not as a betrayal of the sport, but as a savvy business decision. And while many analysts still favor Davis to win, public opinion on the fight remains split.
Man, that's the circus. If you want to join the circus, that's the circus. I don't see the value. I just see money involved in that. If they want the money, if that's what they want to do, then go ahead and go ahead and get the money. But other than that, I'm not. You got a guy, JakePaul, that's what, 6'3", 6'4", almost. Then you got a guy, Gervonta Davis, that's like 5'5", a little guy. Yeah. Y'all gonna try to, who's 200 pounds, just for Mike Tyson there, I'm gonna throw him in there with a 135. It's just a circus, and that's what they want to do to get money, to generate money in the sport of boxing instead of Gervonta Davis. This is a legacy fight. He was supposed to fight Lamont Roach after this, and then he say, no. Think about it. You really can't say too much. When you say Gervonta Tank Davis and you say Lamont Roach, there's still a question mark on that fight. It was still a question mark on that rumble. You just gonna leave it and then go right to the money and say, no, I ain't. That's how you know legacy and everything don't matter. I did that before. I took the money with the Joe Smith fight when my hand was fucked up and, excuse my language, my hand was messed up, broke in training camp, and I still said, yo, no, I'm taking that. I'm still fighting him. I'm not gonna not fight him again. I'm gonna fight. We're fighting him, Dad. We're fighting him, Rick. We're fighting him, Fred. I went against everybody. Jesse, don't take the fight, man. Let your hand heal. Let's get the surgery. No, I'm fighting him. It's too close. We 3 weeks out. I'm fighting him.
Boxing commentator Andy Ross offered a surprising take by picking Jake Paul to win. While he acknowledged that the matchup is a smart move for both fighters, Ross pointed to Paul's size advantage and unconventional style as potential game changers. His prediction, though controversial, highlights the intrigue surrounding this bout. While Paul doesn't share Davis's pedigree, his physicality, confidence, and unpredictable approach introduce real uncertainty. Ross's stance may not be widely accepted, but it reflects a growing contingent who believe Paul deserves more credit than the boxing world is willing to give. Still, skepticism remains. Some insiders aren't even convinced the fight will ultimately happen.
Couple more things for Lego. Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Davis.
Crazy.
Your thoughts on this?
I have locks with Snaggy right there. I think Jake Paul wins that fight. You're way, look, obviously Gervonta Davis has way more experience. He's a hell of a fighter. He's done so much more for boxing and you know, than a lot of people. But to say that, you know, that's not, everyone's going to want to watch that fight. I think it's a genius idea. I think Jake Paul sets the craziest expectations, and I think he sets the bar so high now in the boxing world. Jake Paul revived boxing. You know, people could say what they want to say about it, but Jake Paul really revived the sport of boxing. You know, Joe Rogan once said previously, not so long ago, but he did speak about how boxing would eventually die out and all the eyes would shift to MMA. And it's true. I sit there, I'll watch UFC whenever there's an amazing pay-per-view event. I'm always watching it. Boxing, I don't really watch it as much. And yeah, you can call me a casual to the sport. I'm just getting into it. But to people that are just getting into the sport, UFC is like the new boxing, what it was 20, 30 years ago. So Jake Paul is changing and reviving the sport of boxing, in my opinion. But I think that Jake Paul wins that fight. I love Gervonta as a fighter. I think he's amazing. I think he has great technique. He has crazy knockout power. Don't underestimate him.
You've spoken to him before, haven't you?
Yeah.
When you're doing it was you and Ron Garcia and Gervonta and Tank when they were fighting.
Yeah. I just spoke with Gervonta today, actually. So when I get back to Miami, him and I might do something. I don't know. But, you know, I think, like I said, don't count him out, but I think Jake Paul wins that fight.
Coach Bernie flat out dismissed the matchup, expressing strong doubt that it will happen, not even as an exhibition. In his view, the fight lacks both purpose and credibility, serving more as hype than substance. His skepticism isn't isolated. Historically, high-profile crossover bouts have often collapsed during negotiations, and Bernie's doubts reflect a wider reluctance within boxing to fully embrace celebrity-driven spectacles. Still, with both Gervonta and Jake Paul publicly expressing commitment to the fight, his prediction may ultimately be proven wrong. Regardless, Bernie's comments underscore a lingering divide in the sport, where many insiders remain unconvinced of the bout's legitimacy.
I don't see even at an exhibition. Now, first of all, we went with the Mike Tyson thing, right? So Mike Tyson, 60 years old. You know, obviously we all thinking that, you know, he had to pull his punches against Jake. Either one of them, both of them had to do something to get through the fight, you know, so they couldn't do their 100% thing in the fight. Now we talking about a 135-pound guy, 5'3", right, against a 6 foot, 200-pound guy. What is the point of that? I'm asking you, what is the point of that? What is the point of that, and how you think that's going to go? So Jake Paul, just alone on strength alone, Tank is not a – we just seen him struggle with Lamont Roach, right, who's a guy his size. Now, Jake Paul is not as talented as Lamont Roach, but come on now, we ain't talking about 2 weight classes. We talking about 4, 5, 6 weight classes. We got to go from 35, we got to go to 40, 47, 54, 60, 68, 75, 90. That's 7 weight class difference. 7 weight class difference. 7 weight class difference. We talking about 7 weight class difference. We all know Tank best weight is 35, 40. You fought Barrios at 40, 35, 40. And you fight Jake Paul, who getting better. I'm like I said, and he got 6 feet tall. Where Tank gonna hit him? Where is Tank gonna land some punch? And he don't throw a lot of punches. Come on now. He didn't knock Lamont Roach out. You gonna knock Jake Paul out? So what's the point of the exhibition for real?
Beyond the financial incentive, some analysts view Jake Paul's decision to face Gervonta as a calculated move toward legitimacy. For years, Paul has fought for respect, often dismissed as a YouTuber dabbling in boxing. Yet his persistence, along with wins over former MMA champions, has steadily raised his profile. Stepping into the ring with Davis, an undefeated champion known for his devastating knockout power, marks Paul's most daring effort yet to be taken seriously as a contender. And if he can hold his own, win or lose, he'll earn a level of credibility that even his harshest critics will struggle to ignore.